Alright, so here it looks like we do have a ship. I earlier mentioned in the previous video that I was going to VacForm the clayed up secondary hull. So I did that, and once I saw it I figured, well, why not glue that to the saucer I had created a few days ago. And at that point I figured I may as well get a copy of the deflector dish here to act as the end cap. So I made two of those, put one on the front, and then I did the hanger bay as well. Having those two up there shows me that the dimensions are correct for the overall size of everything, and the way that end cap fit on was just really perfect. I couldn't believe it, that I had gotten it so good, so close, so fast. There's a couple problems with it, obviously. I mean, this is only a first draft rough mock-up of the whole thing, and parts are too thick, too thin, too oddly shaped, and so on and so forth. However, this is showing me that I'm pretty much on the right track. So, a couple of the things that did happen was that the X-Acto decided to exact price in the form of blood. That would not come with any kit should this turn into a kit, of course. Another bad thing is that the saucer droops. So even though when it's not drooping it's even with the back of the spine, even right now you can see there's a definitive angle between here and there. And when I glued the engines on, those also went a couple degrees too high. Another issue here is this big gouge at the bottom of the neck. This was a VacForming issue. The angle between the neck itself and then the front bit of that secondary hull was just too much for the VacForm to really pull down. Of course, the neck won't be angled like that on the back there or in the front. I just didn't have enough clay to fill out and round those spots over. And of course, looking at this surface, this is completely and utterly rough and ugly. And that's exactly how the clay was. However, like I said, this is showing me that the process I'm on is correct. So once I had gotten all these extra little pieces cast up, I figured I may as well do some cheap knockoffs of the engine to see what this would really look like. I had a couple troubles getting the pylons to glue down at the proper angle, but they are just about right. The engine should be just below the primary dish, and they are. I glued the top engine a little too low, but really barely a fraction. I was surprised that the engines go so far back, but if you look at this, that I was going to call it a bussard, but it's really Bussard after the guy that named it. So that pretty much ends right at the base of the neck. So looking at this, once I put the Bussards on, that'll end just about at the neck, and that really surprised me that it cut so close. And also the angles involved mean that the pylon is going right up to that inner trench there, which was kind of surprising. So let's actually take this across the room here. Let me get the camera here right. We'll go for the comparison here. So let's get the back of the engine is just about right. Right about there, I think. So this is definitely, it's getting chaotic here. I see why. Alright, let's try and, nope. There's no way to get the acrobatics to work out really well here. There we go. So this is definitely in scale. And I'm pretty psyched about it. It looks good from a lot of good angles here. And even though this is a total crappy mutant of what a real one should look like, I'm gonna keep it around as a souvenir, basically. If you had told me I could have done this just even 2 years ago, I would have called you a nutcase. And I would have been right at the time, but 2 years down the road, this definitely shows me that my skills have improved, so I'm pretty psyched about that. Got all the angles just about right. All the dimensions are just about right. I mean, they're maybe like thousandths of an inch off, but they're pretty much spot on. And even though this is an utterly crappy piece of essentially worthless plastic, it's a good one. And it's showing me that everything that I'm doing is on track, I think. Obviously, there's a lot of room for improvements. Ugh, just looking at that dome right there. But, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Thanks everybody for all the comments you give me over time. I definitely appreciate that. And I'm going to bring this to fruition, I think. So that's it. Take care. Catch y'all later. See ya.